The Cardinal Print of Mapua University presents to you a self-love Valentine special podcast entitled The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied.
Bago masalina ng iba, siguraduhin mo munang puno ka at may matitira pa.
This just in, La Unica Veritas University or LoveU suspends all synchronous classes for both Intramuros and Makati campuses from the 1st of February to the 14th, 2022. However, asynchronous classes may still be deployed. This is to heed the call of the student body for a health break due to the alarming rise in number of positive COVID-19 cases in the country. This has been the Cardinal Print Cardinal Alert.
Yo guys! Have you heard the news?
Alin, Sylvestre?
Check yung friends book page ng Love You, bilis!
OMG! Finally at naisipan na din nila mag-announce ng health break. Naloloko na ako sa deadlines.
But on the downside, we still have asynchronous tasks, di ba? Ano ba yan? Hindi pa full spend?
Kaya nga ang dami nang nagkakasakit sa university natin. Cases are rising at an alarming rate, and schools must be sensitive to both the students and their employees.
Sylvestre, Eloise, Amara, and Achilles expressed their sentiments on the recently announced health break. However, one seems too distracted to even pay attention.
Huy, Felicia! Lahat kami dito busy mag-rant. Why are you giggling on your own?
Nako, ganyan ba talaga pag may love life? Sige, okay lang, sanay na kami.
Amara and Sylvester tried to snap Felicia back into reality, but it seems like their friend is too immersed with a seemingly entertaining conversation on her phone.
Oh, sorry. What were you guys saying?
Ayan, sa kakachat mo dun sa jowa mo, hindi ka na-informed na suspended ang classes natin.
Wait, what? You're kidding, Achilles.
Friendly advice lang, friend. You're so attentive when it comes to your significant other. But when it comes to your own surroundings, you're so aloof, detached. As if you're holistically absent. Right, Eloise?
Alam mo, Amara's right, Felicia. And we're very concerned because you're anywhere but here. Alam mo yun, sis?
What are you guys talking about? I'm here. I was paying attention, but then Inigo and I were chatting about some inside jokes. Kaya I spaced out a bit. I know you guys love me so much. But don't worry. Kayo pa rin ang number 1 sa puso ko. After my boyfriend, of course.
Edi ikaw na may kayakap sa Valentines. Habang kami dito, wala na nga kadate, marami pang deadlines.
Kaya nga Look, tuloy-tuloy ang notification sa Blackboard ko.
Ay, kaloka. Pati sa Feb 14 may deadline pa para sa PT natin sa finance.
Nako, sige na guys. Ang dami ko pang gagawing tasks.
Ako rin Bye na!
Bye, guys! Ingat kayo!
Bye-bye!
Last trip naman tong si Inigo. Ay, nag-leave na pala sila. Kaloka, hindi ko man lang napansin.
Hi, Felicia.
Good morning, babe. How was your morning?
It's fine.
Ayan, the couple mugs that I bought for us will be delivered today na pala. I'm so excited for us to try it.
I don't want it.
You don't want... What?
The couple mugs that you bought.
Wait, I don't understand. We chose this together, right? Ayaw mo ba nung design?
I don't want the mug, your gifts, your time, your attention, your love. I don't want anything from you anymore. You're too much.
I don't understand. We were fine yesterday, right?
Felicia, I want out.
Out? What do you mean you want out? Why so suddenly? We were okay these past few weeks, right? Oh no, did I do something wrong? Promise I'll make it up to you. Just please. Please, I promise I will be better. I will be more understanding, more freeing. I will be more. Just please do not leave me. I'm a lost cause without you. I cannot fathom a life without you.
Felicia, look at yourself. You've lost yourself by loving me so much. Too much that's becoming toxic for the both of us. Di mo ba napapansin? You set aside your life for me. It's as if you can't go on with your life without putting me first. For goodness sake, Felicia, put yourself first. You give too much for others, yet you can't even give a portion of that to yourself. And you know, it pains and burdens me to see you set yourself aside for me. You cancel your plans just to adjust to mine. You even change your priority school because of me.
But I did all of that because I love you. I want to be with you. Please, please don't leave me.
I know, and I do want that too. Just not in this type of way. I'm sorry, but this relationship is becoming too constricting for the both of us. It hurts me to see you lose yourself. I'm sorry, Felicia.
Felicia was too stunned to speak. It didn't sink in. She couldn't comprehend the logic behind her lover's reason for breaking up. She was there, staring at the blank screen of her phone, too stunned to even mutter a word, as rivers of liquefied pain began to pour on her face. It's been 3 days since the split, and for 3 days, Felicia was too devoid of life to even function. For 3 days, she often found herself alone, staring at the ceiling, contemplating where it went wrong, where she went wrong. And for 3 days, her eyes have not yet cried themselves dry. At every close of her eyes, there were always tears waiting to be released.
Where did I go wrong? I I was giving him everything I could. Even more. It was more than enough. And yet, I can't seem to be enough. I spent the last 2 years living life with him, for him. Now that he's gone, I'm left with nothing. A void, empty vessel. No dream, no purpose, no hope, no worth. I gave him so much. Maybe too much. And yet somehow, too much was never enough.
After days and days of sulking and processing everything alone, Felicia decides to run to her ever-trustworthy support system, her friends.
Hey guys, are you all in the right headspace right now to listen? I need to let something out.
Yes, sure. We're here to listen.
Hi Felicia, what's the matter?
Hey, okay ka lang?
Uy, did something happen?
We're here to listen, girl.
So, Inigo and I broke up a few days ago. Of course I'm not okay.
Her friends were shocked at the sudden drop of news. They didn't see it coming. No one did. For the past few weeks, they saw how happy Felicia was with their relationship. There were no hints, no cracks, no clues, no rifts that may hint at a brewing breakup.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Wait,
Bakit daw?
for real? You're kidding.
But I'm not. And and I couldn't figure out where I went wrong. He told me that I loved him too much, and that I was losing myself while loving him. He said that I was giving too much for him, yet so little for myself. Tell me guys, hindi naman ako ganun, di ba?
A deafening moment of silence dominated their line of communication. Not one dared to agree or disagree, for no one had the heart to mutter a word that may potentially break Felicia further. But the lack of response is already a response within itself. Felicia understood what the silence meant.
Huh. So, you're telling me that he's right? And that I was too much? Tama ba, ha?
Feli, as much as we're sorry that you're going through this, which you do not deserve in any way, we have to agree that sometimes you tend to push yourself aside for the sake of others.
We know that it's just you and your selflessness, but sometimes you have to put yourself first. It's alright to give so much for someone, but never do it at the expense of your own sake. We can see that, yes, you love others, but you have to love yourself too.
Once again, silence embraced the space. But for Felicia, it was a comforting kind of silence, a moment to help her reflect and ponder. The next day, the friends were bombarded with the landslide of schoolworks, leaving no room for Felicia to even feel about her heartbreak.
Yo, guys, did you see the new PT for our philosophy subject? Well, apparently, it's due this Sunday na eh.
Diba? I have like 8 pending tasks on my to-do list right now.
Well, what other choice do we have? Ikaw, Felicia, kaya pa?
They all waited for Felicia's response while intently looking at her through their respective screens. And just like before, they received no immediate response as their friend seems too immersed with whatever she's doing on her phone. Felicia seems laser focused, eyes squinting, forehead creased, as she scribbles something on her phone. But this time, she was too caught up in her own world, not anyone else's but her own, while being oblivious of her surroundings.
Uy, yan na naman siya. Di tayo naririnig.
Uy! Felicia! Tao po!
Ay, sorry. Ano yun?
Kaya mo pa ba yung schoolworks?
Oo naman. Actually, ito nga oh. Tinatapos ko na yung last task sa to-do list ko.
Anyway, may re-recommend akong podcast sa inyo. Try nyo pakinggan itong The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied podcast on Spotify. It's one of the best self-help podcasts that I have ever listened to.
Later that day, on her alone and silent moments with no one but herself, Felicia listened to the podcast entitled The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 7th episode of the podcast, The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied. Once again, I am your friendly neighborhood speaker, Rachel, helping you with your journey on self-love. So, I bet you've all heard of the 5 love languages, such as quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, words of affirmation, and physical touch. And oftentimes, we may associate them to the love that we want to receive from other people. But have you ever tried applying those love languages to yourself in a way that you yourself will be the one to give you the love that you want to receive from others? So, imagine being so eager to fill up another person's cup only to find out that you've finally emptied yours. And now you're left with nothing but an empty cup. And so, my dear friends, this is a friendly reminder to always, always, always leave something for yourself before you give something to others. Because How can you give something you don't possess in the first place? Now, bringing in the context of self-love, we must always ensure that we never go empty of our love for ourselves, because some of us might love others too much, excessively too much, but completely neglect loving ourselves.
Those words were like an arrow that hit Bull's eye, like a knife stabbed on the most vulnerable spot, like a lightning that struck right through the deepest depths of her heart. The words bore too much weight that the storm that she's been trying to suppress lately finally poured. And it poured hard, relentlessly, stopping at nothing as she gasps for air in between her desperate sobs. Days have passed, and Felicia spent the days focusing on herself as she drowns with the ocean of things that need to be done for school. Along with her are her friends who comforted her agony with their warm presence. And now they're down to the last day of their health break, February 14th.
Hello guys! Happy Valentine's Day!
Happy Valentine's, everyone!
HVD, guys.
Oh, by the way, abangan mo pala yung Valentine's gift ko for you, Felicia. On the way na yun sa bahay mo.
Hala, nag-abala ka pa. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it, bestie.
Of course, malakas ka sa akin eh.
Ba't kami wala? Fake friend!
I know, right?
Anyway, I'm done helping you with researching the sources needed. Kindly check the document that I sent na lang.
Okay. Thank you. This is such a huge help to me since I'm struggling with the RRL of our study. Ay.
No prob.
Nga pala, Sylvester. We'll play Genshin later, right?
Yes, boss! Farm tayo for level up materials.
Nice.
Alam nyo, I'm really glad to see you slowly heal, Felicia. I'm happy that you're beginning to focus on yourself more, and we are all here for you through and through. You're worth so much, and you deserve just the good things. I hope you're happy this Valentine's Day, Felicia.
Warmth. All Felicia could ever feel at that moment was the warmth of her friend's embrace, even though they're apart. Tears of liquefied joy escaped her eyes and made their way down her cheeks. And although she's not fully healed yet, she knows that she's healing. She was beginning to love herself with the help of the people who love her as well.
When we broke up, it hurt. It cut me deep, excruciatingly deep. I almost couldn't stand back up again. I simply did not know of a life devoid of him. I heaved a sigh as I rested my back on the spa sofa. I decided to give myself some love by pampering myself. And for some reason, I feel light. I feel free. I feel happy that I'm beginning to see my worth without anchoring it on someone else. Finally, my own life revolves around me.
Warm tears of relief fell down. She discreetly wipes them as she fills her cup with water and slightly sips on it. She caressed the cup on her hands, the mug that she was supposed to give her ex-lover. She smiled at the fact that it hurts less.
Kaya ngayon, alam ko na. Huwag kang magbibigay sa iba kung para sa'yo ay walang matitira. If there's one cup that shall never be emptied of our love, it's our own.
This podcast is written by Reinheart Villaruz, voiced by Xyryll Kadatuan as Felicia, Isabel Bacon as Eloise, Reinheart Villaruz as Rachel, the podcast host, and Jerich Estilles as Sylvestre. The Cardinal Print would also like to give special thanks to Francine Hart de Rona as Amara, Lord Maximus Reyes as Achilles, Carlos Antonio Valencia as Inigo and student reporter, and Sir Carlo Concepcion as the narrator. Edited by Kristian Padilla, Lorenz Marqueses, and Xyryll Kadatuan. Illustrated by Riona Angela Samole and Janelle Moraine Pangilinan. Promoted and led by Xyryll Kadatuan and Reinheart Villaruz. Stay tuned for the commentary of this podcast in a few minutes. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Cardinal Print's Valentine Special Podcast.
Entitled The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Xyryll Kadatuan, OIC for this podcast, as well as the voice actress of Felicia.
A blessed afternoon to our listeners here today. I am Reinheart Villaruz, the script and storyboard writer of this podcast. So, happy Valentine's Day sa inyo dyan. We hope that you're all happy this Valentine's. Ano mang status nyo when it comes to love. Ikaw ba, Cyril? Kamusta naman Valentine's mo so far?
So, ayun, mag-isa and puno ng iba-ibang recs, pero okay lang. I have my friends and families to celebrate with naman eh. Tsaka, syempre, dahil may pandemic, hindi rin masyado makalabas or makagala to celebrate. So, I took this opportunity to rest for a bit and take care of myself rin. Ikaw ba rin? Kamusta Valentine's mo?
No comment. Joke lang, pero eto, as usual, single but definitely not alone and lonely. Siyempre, masaya at excited dahil pinalabas na ang ating Valentine special podcast na The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied. So, masasabi ko na ito talaga ang highlight ng Valentine's ko because it celebrates not really romantic love but also platonic and self-love. Kaya masasabi kong talagang nakaka-motivate bumangon ngayong Valentine's kasi kahit walang jowa, may self-love podcast naman ang The Cardinal Print. Now, how about you, Cyril? Being that you're the officer in charge of this project, what motivated you to produce this podcast?
Feeling ko kasi tuwing Valentine's, yung unang pumapasok sa mga isip ng mga tao, no, is yung romantic love, yung mga magjojowa na they're spending their time together on dates, tapos secondary na lang yung families and even more rare or unheard of is yung pagse-celebrate na mag-isa. Because parang ang dating kasi sa ibang tao kapag nagse-celebrate ka mag-isa, malungkot. Kasi walang boyfriend, walang girlfriend, ganon. And I think na it's time to change that mindset. Kasi taking care and loving ourselves is just as important as loving others. And there is a fine line. Okay? There is a fine line between self-love and narcissism. Ikaw ba, Rain? So, habang ginagawa mo yung script para sa podcast na to, since you're the script writer, no? What did you feel or like, how did you envision this podcast?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question. So, as the writer of this podcast, I really wanted to highlight the essence of self-love, self-awareness, and self-appreciation. So, I wrote this story for it to be a very relatable story for us, the youth, who are highly vulnerable to heartbreaks and falling in love. So, this story is very personal and very close to my heart. I am for loving and prioritizing oneself. Kaya naman makikita natin sa story ni Felicia na after having her former lover, Inigo, as the center of her world, she starts to learn to see her worth without anchoring it to another person. At kaya naisip ko yung title na The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied is because I suddenly had this image in my mind of an overflowing cup. And so I decided to incorporate that into the plot. Quoting one of Felicia's lines, "If there's one cup that shall never be emptied of our love, it's our own." Which reiterates the importance of filling yourself up with your own love first before giving it to someone else. Kaya ikaw, Cyril, as the voice actor of Felicia, how did you feel or what struck you the most when you were portraying her?
Alam mo yung isa sa mga tumatak sa isip ko mula sa script is yung line na, how can you give something you don't possess in the first place? So, I believe it's a common mistake para sa ating lahat to give too much to others to the point na wala nang natitira para sa atin. Like Felicia, for instance, 'di ba? Halos lahat na lang ginawa niya para kay Inigo, lahat ng adjustments ginawa niya and willing pa siya to do more para lang hindi siya iwanan. So, I think the reason behind that is hinahanap kasi natin yung mga bagay na wala or kulang tayo mula sa ibang tao. Kaya tuwing nakakakita tayo ng someone else na nakapag-provide sa atin nun, ayaw na natin pakawalan. So, like, in the context of love, there's nothing wrong naman with loving others and seeking love from others. Pero ang mali is yung overboard na tayo para sa iba to the point na we already neglect ourselves.
Alam mo, tama ka dyan, sis. Kasi 'di ba, imagine being so eager to fill up someone else's cup when your own cup itself is completely dry of your love. It's gonna be completely unhealthy for you if you prioritize others at the expense of your own sake. Kaya friends, this is your friendly reminder to love yourself, to feel for yourself, recognize yourself, and appreciate yourself. And in terms of loving ourselves, may iba't iba tayong love languages na applicable para dyan. Tulad na lang ng quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, physical touch, and gifts. O, sakto ngayong Valentine's. Gift yourself with a treat. Eat your favorite food, binge watch your favorite shows, or even add to cart na if that's what makes you happy, diba? Deserve natin to. How about you, sis? What's your love language?
Actually, dalawa yung akin eh. Hindi ako makapamili ng talagang top 1 lang kasi pareho sila eh. I feel loved and I feel the affection from other people when they spend time with me and give me undivided attention or when they give me hugs and kisses. So, my main love languages are physical touch and quality time. Kaso, ngayon kasi mahirap, 'di ba pandemic? So, yung physical touch, mahirap like, I would like to receive hugs, I would like to receive mga beso-beso and kisses like that. Kaso nga lang, social distancing muna. Kasi para din iwas makahawa or mahawaan ng sakit. And through this podcast though, na-realize ko na we can also perform or display the love language of physical touch to ourselves rin pala. So, it's not just from one person to another. Kaya din pala natin gawin yun to ourselves. So, ayun, gaya ng sa story, yung pag-spa days or spa nights ni Felicia. O kaya naman, even as simple as eating a healthy diet or exercising, it shows self-love rin pala. So, there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way. And then, another is yung quality time, 'di ba? So, gusto ko na magka-call with friends from time to time, mga chikahan, ganon, watching movies together. Kaso, every time binubuksan ko yung laptop ko, nare-remind talaga ako ng requirements kong mga hindi ko pa tapos. So, yung quality time ko, parang blackboard na lang yata yung kasama ko sa quality time ko eh.
I relate tayo dyan. Pero in the midst of tambak na schoolworks, pwede rin naman tayo magkaroon ng quality time with our friends or classmates. For example na lang, chikahan about schoolworks para naman matanggal ang stress, 'di ba? Actually, alam mo, Xyryll, itong pagchichikahan natin ngayon, I consider it as quality time na kasi both of us are actually enjoying, 'di ba? And that's what's important with quality time. To enjoy it and spend it with those who truly matter and add value to your life. Tulad na lang dun sa story. Yung friend group nila Felicia, laging tambay ng Discord. Pati si Felicia and Sylvestre sabay naglalaro ng games to bond with each other. Oh, for sure, maraming nakaka-relate dyan. 'Di ba? Just the mere presence of our loved ones can already make us feel loved.
True, true. The mere presence of our loved ones can already make us feel loved nga naman. Yes, I agree. So, isa pang love language na sa tingin ko medyo we take for granted somehow is yung acts of service. Kasi madali siyang i-express eh. Kaso nga lang, dahil madali siyang i-express, hindi natin napapansin or like, yun nga, we take it for granted lang. So, example nga nun, di ba, is yung sa podcast na nagtutulungan si Felicia and Achilles for the research. So, mahirap kayang mag-research, mahirap paghanap ng mga magagandang sources, and syempre, ayusin mo pa yung contents nun, kung ano ba yung mga relevant at hindi para sa study mo, 'di ba? So, mahirap siya. Pero nag-effort pa rin si Achilles para matulungan si Felicia sa research niya. And sa atin ngayon, in real time, meron tayong mga kanya-kanyang friend groups din, 'di ba? And Siyempre, tulong-tulungan din tayo. Sabay-sabay tayo, di ba? We're all in this together nga naman. So, tulong-tulungan tayo sa homework or sa projects, sa mga pag-aaral sa quiz, and emphasis on pag-aaral kasi bad mangopya guys. So, ayun. Since nagtutulong-tulungan tayo, we should thank others, okay? We should take the time to thank those na tinutulungan tayo sa mga activities natin and return the favor when the opportunity comes.
Correct ka dyan, sis. Ako naman personally, feel ko ang love language ko ay words of affirmation kasi it's fulfilling for me to give and receive nice words. Talagang kinikilig ako kapag nakaka-receive ako ng kahit anong words of kindness. Kaya naman nahahawa ako na ipasa yung ganoong kilig sa iba by saying words of affirmation as well. Talagang, alam mo yun, nakaka-uplift siya ng disposition mo sa buong araw na yun. And little do we know how our small, kind words create a ripple effect on someone else's day, making them feel good all throughout the day. Our words can either make them or break them. Kaya I hope that every one of us will always, always, always choose for the former, which is to make someone else's day. Gaya na lang ng pag-uplift ni Eloise kay Felicia. She assured Felicia of her worth and how much she deserves the good things in life. Kaya ayun, sana lagi nating tandaan na deserve natin ang magagandang bagay sa buhay.
Tama. And given our pandemic situation, hindi talaga may iwasan na bumaba ang mood and motivation natin. That's why it's very important rin to give words of affirmation to others and most importantly, to ourselves. Kasi kahit galing pa yan sa sarili mo, it still counts. And I believe that it can also help relieve some of the worries and stress that we carry. Masarap kaya masabihan ng, uy, ang ganda ng gawa mo. Or, uy, kita nung nag-on-cam ka para sa klase kanina nung nag-recite ka. Cutie mo Kahit yung mga pa-bola-bola lang na ganun, it still helps. Lalo na sa mga friends natin and para sa sarili natin. Pwede din natin i-motivate yung sarili natin like, uy, ang taas ng score ko sa quiz sa physics Mga ganun. Kahit mga small, simple things lang, simple compliments, it helps.
Tama! Lakas talaga maka-good vibes kapag may nagko-compliment sa'yo. Feel mo na ang haba-haba ng hair mo. Kaya talaga, if you have it in your heart to compliment someone, then please do so. Because everyone deserves to be recognized for their good traits.
So, ayun, grabe, ang bilis ng oras. Paggabi na ba? Or gabi na nga yata no? Ay, hindi ko na alam, di pa ako ulit nakakalabas ng bahay na hindi for necessity, kundi for pure enjoyment lang. Pero bukod pa ron, sana marami kayong natutunan from this podcast and from our chikahan for tonight. But most importantly, sana na-enjoy nyo ang istorya ni Felicia at ang kanyang journey to self-discovery and obtaining self-love. Laging tatandaan, bago mo salinan ng iba, siguraduhin mo munang puno ka at may matitira pa.
Ayan, nakakalungkot lang na malapit na magtapos ang ating podcast for today. Pero for me, I would like to thank everyone who helped make this project possible. And a very huge thanks to our viewers here today. We hope that we're able to make your Valentines a bit more special through this self-love podcast. And I would also like to state Felicia's lines to remind everyone that if there's one cup that shall never be emptied of our love, it's our own. Kaya bigyan natin ng isang mainit at mahigpit na yakap ang ating mga sarili dahil walang sino mang may deserve maging malungkot ngayong Valentine's o kahit anong araw pa yan.
Once again, I am Xyryll Kadatuan, OIC for this podcast, as well as voice actress of Felicia.
And this is Reinheart Villaruz, the script and storyboard writer for this podcast.
Thank you for listening to TCP's Valentine's special podcast entitled The Cup That Shall Never Be Emptied. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone! Tandaan, mahalin ang sarili bago ang iba. Alagaan ang sarili bago ang iba.